Okay, we're back. Hey everybody, welcome to another Binary Angel live stream. I'm actually busy finishing up some of my notes here on the side, so camera view just for a second while I do that. But welcome everyone. Good to see y'all. I actually have a lot of stuff to cover today. I was kind of trying to make up my mind about what to cover, and then all of a sudden everybody else in the office had good ideas. Other friends may have had good ideas, so what's up, my good binges? I need a better catchphrase. Yes, I wear glasses now. I am old, it turns out. So I went to the eye doctor a couple weeks back, and she was like, "Oh wow, you're having trouble seeing?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she looked at my chart. Thank you. I made the intern bring me coffee. It's the best part. Okay, so like it's kind of for the joke, but also because I started my. It's not actually coffee. I started my chai in the microwave right before stream started. So welcome, Valgrind. Good to see you. Anyway, so yeah, the eye doctor was like, "Oh, you need glasses. That's not good." And I was like, she looked at my chart. She goes, "Oh, you're 42. Yeah, it makes complete sense." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So it's just normal. Apparently that's part of getting old. Welcome, Scott. How's it going? So yeah, we have like a whole bunch of good topics today. Yes, I'm ancient. I'm an old man. And some days I feel like it. I don't heal so good anymore. But yeah, I am actually 42. So, all right. Okay, I gotta look at my notes over here. Yeah, I read books as a kid, like all hours of the night under the covers and flashlight and dim light, and my mom was always like, "You're gonna ruin your eyes." Joke's on her. She had to wear glasses before she was my age. So it's time. I mean, I can actually still see the screen. It's just a little blurry and significantly better with these. I can also work with just regular readers. But anyway, nobody needs to hear my full story. Yeah. So the problem with like lasers is that I think as you get this particular type, my eyes are getting older. They're changing a little bit year over year, and so like it takes like a decade, I guess, to settle. And so once that happens, maybe that's worth doing. But anyway, oh, I forgot to post more links. If y'all are in any good Slacks in reverse engineering and you think people would appreciate the stream, you should invite them right now, because I think this is a good one to tune in. We're going to talk about a lot of interesting things. And I'm in charge. I'm energized. Yeah, I'm energized. So I'm excited to do a bunch of stuff today. So hopefully this will be a good one. So please bring your friends. Suggest that they tune in. We got all sorts of good stuff. So I guess we'll start with just like the last couple weeks of code changes. So let's take a look over here. Yeah, check mark. No, that's not what I wanted. All right, the last couple weeks. What have we seen in Binary Ninja? So I think I've got latest dev here. What issues have been closed? So a couple things that I know landed. Yeah, that makes sense too. Well, and I think it's the difference between like nearsighted or farsighted, and I guess one type of vision actually, your eyes as they get older and sag and gravity or whatever, they start to see better. So there are people actually who stop wearing glasses but then the people who didn't from the beginning, then their eyes keep going whatever. Doctor, I am not, but these are things I have heard. So yeah, I don't even know what you can get LASIK or some laser stuff later in life, because my mom got it when she was in her 50s or 60s, I think. So I think it's I think it's doable. She still is in her 60s. She's not. I'm just saying she's not like super. I'm sorry. I'm out of my mom's age on stream. I shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, all right. So let's look through the issues today. Oh, right. Yeah. Brian caught a good little bug that was the UI was kind of lagging. And there was a crash. Oh, this was actually a really good one too. So Brian also really improved, pull up any of our standard binaries. Brian really improved the, let's see if I sit in the chair. It's gonna be too high, so. Boop. There we go. Brian really improved the mapping between ILs. So this will, I'm trying to remember a good, I could probably go dig up an example, but we'll just, we'll look at it here for now. So I think it was between high level IL and in particular, I want to say it was actually on some like ARM binaries. I don't know if I happen to have anything ARM handy. Oh, spoilers. Oh, spoilers in the rest of the stream. Samples. What we got here? ARM. I know you're all quiet because you're all getting everybody else to come join us, right? You're gonna go and we'll get a bunch more watching. Also, the one thing I did differently at the stream this week that I'm curious what y'all think about is I started the stream earlier on YouTube so that when I link to it, you could just like go there and leave it open and it would just autoplay, which I think makes it easier for people to tune in. Otherwise, like I tweet like an hour beforehand and then I don't tweet right at the time, or I could queue up another tweet. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out ways to make it easier. I guess if you all have notifications turned on, you see it that way. Yeah, exactly, Daniel. Like totally, yeah, very much agree. And I will say full credit where credit is due. That is honestly something that we were heavily inspired by Ghidra, like really seeing how Ghidra had great synchronization in the split views. Well, at the time we thought it was great because it was a lot better than what we had. I think since then we've done better. I know some other folks that were in particular using the API and trying to map like, you know, a decompilation to like all of the parameters, for example. You would get like far fewer items. But like product, yeah. So here's a good example, right? Where this add product, we're gonna get the product create, we're gonna get all the parameters set up, so you get a fair amount of mappings. And actually, if you're curious, this is I'm gonna hit space to toggle. I use space to toggle between linear and graph. And then you can do current like high level IL 15 just to get the particular instruction. .LLILS. Wait. Now where is it? Maybe it's the other way around. No, hold on. I thought this got added. Oh, you can MLILs, and then from each of those you can iterate and get low level ILs. So the plurals will give you like multiple, and that's I think essentially what's kind of happening behind the scenes when you see these multiple highlights. But I agree, like. Benja really works better to kind of have both side by side, and you know you can always just hold on, I've got a control key stuck. VMware really likes to like have. There we go. Okay. Oh no, hold on, that's something different. What is my? I feel like there's a keybind set here. View and graph is space. Is there something else that's space? No, that was some weird behavior. I wonder if is that a bug or that was odd. So if I hit space, I'm getting search for actions. That's interesting. Hey, Fox, welcome. And yes, Ryan, being able to save layouts. I think it was John that fixed that. He'll actually be wandering through here again. I think a little bit. John and Peter and Zane went out to dinner. But yeah, layouts are actually working again. I was equally bummed the fact that like 3.0 stable basically lost that. Like I really do like the new sidebar, in particular being able to like leave types open while you're reversing, while you're looking at other stuff and like, you know, create types at different offsets. That's certainly really nice, but the fact that you lost the save layouts was a bummer. So I'm super glad that got added back in as well. So anyway, so that particular feature was, I IO mappings are basically even more accurate. There's a couple cases where we were seeing extra mappings that didn't belong, and Brian fixed those. And I think it was, maybe, I'm trying to remember, I think he fixed two related things. Maybe one was display only, like the APIs were right, but like when you selected something, you would get like things that you shouldn't have. So anyway, let's see, what else? Apply auto discovered type. This sounds like a duplicate is my guess. Is that actually, oh, no, this is just some sort of crash. Ooh, okay. Oh, there's a crash in the API. I got it. Bug crash, no milestone. Ah, see, we gotta train people better. That should be labeled for this release. Hang when navigating Windows API, Windows x86 binary. Oh, this is a nice one. Yeah, so this was a cool idea. We're actually still debating this a lot internally though. But right now, inside of Binja, you can do current. No, what's it? Core version. Yeah. So core version is as a string, but like it's really annoying because people were having to like parse out the string, and it would be way better to have something like sys.version and sys.version info. Oops. Sys.version info in Python. And so you can actually like pull out like the major, the minor, and then like the whatever other properties you want. And so now you can core version info. So Josh actually added this API. This is on dev right now. Except there's a bug. Yeah, I pointed that out to him. I'm not sure why, but the build property shows up as that when like clearly core version, like he just added this today. So that's gonna get fixed there. But oh yeah, the API has had type hints for since 3.0 basically. So the last release and a half basically. We've had the last stable and the stable before that have both had type hinting. So there's, yeah, it's not as helpful in like the console here, but if you actually work with like VS Code or separately, or even just like actually look at the API docs, right? Like you can pull up the hinting. Oh, that's right. No, the tab completion does show it. I forgot about that. Yeah, because it's yeah, the completion here shows all the type information. So trying to make things a little bit cleaner. I still got to get in the habit. It's interesting to me if like when I write like a 2-line little snippet, I usually don't, write type hints obviously, but when I write something that's like a little bit bigger level of like snippet editor, like should I then use type hinting? And I usually don't, but maybe I should. But then when I write plugins, yeah, so I'm sort of still trying to get in the habit of doing that, but yeah, that one's quite nice. All right, so let's see what else changed just in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, so this one I think needs to be. I think this one still needs to be cleaned up. Not only is it not working right, but we're having a debate about whether. So the fact that core version is a string is kind of wrong, right? For any build of Binja, that's a constant value that should just be a property. But like we did it sort of wrong, and like I get that like. Yes, it's backed by a C API, and so at the C level, that makes sense. But from Python, like, again, sys.version, you expect that just to be like a property that you can just read and do stuff with. And the version info, you expect to be able to pull stuff off like that. So I want to be able to do core version info. I just want to be able to like, do like that, right? I want to be able to do the exact same thing that I could do with this version info. Oh, yeah, I'm going there, see. So thank you, Josh, for fixing it or for implementing it. Although here, watch, I'm gonna show off the bug again, right? Because this I noticed is still right. Gotta just call it again because it's not a property. Still says build 0, so that one's just flat out wrong. Oh, and then the other thing that I understand it is a data class, but again, well, so. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with the data class. It's not the exact same as sys.version info, but it's prettier, and you can still get to it just as easily, and maybe with even more. Like I'd be okay if it was just core version info dot major. Like that's fine too. I like that. Although part of the reason this bug isn't fixed is because there's an issue with this, which is you'll notice core version. You see, Colin, I'm already like doing this wrong. Yeah, there's some dragons that Josh came across while working on this, specifically around this, right? So the version info right now has major, minor, and actually build ID. So the build ID is just this incrementing unique number for not quite every commit, but pretty much every commit, so that you get a unique build ID, and then the major and the minor. Major is like, okay, we broke some major API stuff, and minor is meant to be more, incremental releases. We're probably going to start doing major every year, and then minor the three other, I guess, kind of quarterly releases. So it more likely going forward, it'll be 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. We'll see. We're trying to kind of aim for that, but honestly, if we don't make any major breaking changes, then we probably wouldn't. Oh, is it on 3.10? That may be why. I mean. Yes. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's a data class even in Python. That's fair. Yeah, I'm not against it being a data class, like I said too. I'm more object to like having to call it versus our version. But anyway, but the info, that parenthesis bugs me, especially when there's literally never an argument to it. It's always going to be anyway static value. But yeah, so adding a was it branch? I think Josh, you said. I think branch was the terminology we were going to use for that, so that the same string that shows up as like dev or stable or test or whatever that is, will also be available via the data class. So. Oh, channel. Yeah, channel branch. Like I don't think it matters too much. Once you figure out how to get the build server kind of working with it. So, yeah, that's coming. But I like that one. That's one of those like little tiny things that's been annoying a lot of people for a while. And so thanks to Alex for filing it, and thanks Josh for fixing it, even if it's not quite there yet. Actually, yeah, you should. Well, yeah. I was just say reopen it, but I mean it's there. It's just wrong. The build number's not right. Okay. What else? That was a good one. Where my issues go? Oh, hey, there's Tonto. GitHub. Vector. Binary Ninja. And remind me, chat as well. I was trying to remember if last or 2 weeks ago. So Daniel suggested we do a review of Tonto, which I think is a great idea. I don't think we did that last week, did we? Like, I feel like I should remember my own. Oh wait, here I can listen to myself. Oh no, I don't think we did. Yeah, right. I don't think we did that last week. I think we may have talked about Tonto coming out, but we didn't actually show it off. So I'm looking forward to playing with that a little bit. But let's finish up this. What else landed? I think, let's see here. These are the open bugs. No, I want closed ones. What else was closed in the last 2 weeks? Ooh, I like that one. I don't remember if that was done before, but yeah. New tab should always be in hex view. That was a good one. A collaborator. Oh, this is, yeah, just about some features between debugger. 2 sidebars. Yeah, this is something we talked a lot about. And by the way, if you ever see it, Alex RP has been like the MVP of issue filing lately. Thank you. They've done a lot of really good issues, and we're super happy with it. Some people are like, "Oh man, you must be annoyed," and I was like, "No, these are good issues." Like even in the ones we disagree with, like where we say like, "No," it's a perfectly reasonable request, right? Like the request was like, "I want to show 2 sidebars," and then we sort of basically describe why we have a different way that we want to solve that problem. But it's a real workflow, and it's a real thing. So we're totally happy with that. And then there's a bunch of other ones, like just other bug fixes that we've been able to get to. So function analysis time, yeah, that's a little more in the weeds. D doesn't work in the structure editor. Oh, yeah, that's right. I think I've actually run into that in stream before, where like if you want to change, so Normally, like in a view, you can hit let's just find like a linear view. Okay, yeah. Somebody else check that out. Is that just me? I hit space in graph view and I'm getting search for actions. I'm not getting. That's so weird. What is. Hold on, let me just double check my like. Do I have anything weird in here? I have a bunch of stuff. Oh, I think I was playing with Vim bindings even on this. Actually, let's just move. No, move keybinds. Keybinds addition disabled. Let's restart it because I'm curious. I think that's something I've done accidentally to myself. Control P space. I mean, yeah, like I'm not hitting Control P. I was having problems with my VM. Yeah, okay. I have something. Oh wait, was that sorry? Control P space in here. Oh, it is in there. It's just straight up in the. Thank you. Good catch. Appreciate it. Yeah. So I probably just was editing that and I messed it up. And it didn't show up in my sort because it's a multi-hotkey setting. So when I in the UI, when I specifically hit the Command Shift B to bring up the things, I sorted by key binding, which is usually really a good way to find stuff. But because it was down here, I missed it. So I think I probably just accidentally added that. All right, that makes more sense. I was like, pretty sure I didn't break that, but that hasn't been broken recently. All right. So, right, D. We're going to talk about D. If I'm in linear view and I find just like a piece of data and I hit D on it, it basically is making a different size integer. You can just cycle through it. This is very similar to IDA's. I think IDA, even the D, it's the D key. It's the same hotkey, I think, right? Like we also have, you'll see once it's made a bigger one, it makes it smaller. It splits the other ones up into whatever size it is cycled to as well to make them kind of fit, which is nice. But I can also hit just like 4, right? And I can select both of them and hit 2. And so I can change sizes by 1, 2, 4, and 8. But yeah, so but the D hotkey obviously, like again, if you're familiar with IDA, like this is very much like, well, yeah, that's just how it works. But I think you can hit it now here, right? So actually, I really would rather not do this on a system type. So let's just show this. Create a new type. Struct test. Oops. Uint 32T first, and that's whatever. That's fine. So now I should be able to hit D. Yeah, so I can just hit the hotkey here too. And you'll notice it makes the padding, keeps the sizes, so it does exactly what you expect. Yep, little fix, but that's nice. That is nice. What else we got? Oh wait, which way am I going? I think that's it. Oh, and this one, I think it's just a dupe, right? Of the enum. Yeah, that's that one. It's 1216, which by the way, that's a good one to keep in mind, right? So that one's going to come important here in a little bit because this particular request is quite common. So that 1216, actually, in fact, let's just save it because I'm going to want that later. That issue number I'm going to want. All right, so yeah, I think that's it for the changes on dev since the last update. I think the debugger has also had actually several changes there. So if you've been using the debugger, you're a fan of the debugger, I don't usually cover the changes on all of the plugins necessarily, but Shusheng has been cranking away and doing good work. Lots and lots of good fixes there. So debugger is continuing apace as well to improve. All right, next, okay, was that everything on the list of code changes? Yeah, let's look at Tonto now. So Tonto, which hopefully the O, if I just do TO, NTO, does it do a partial search? I'm curious, or is that like, you have to type the magic special O? No, okay, it works. I was afraid that like, being cute with the accent mark would cause it to like not match the plugin manager. which would be annoying. But so let's install Tonto. Is that it? Is it already in? Oh, yeah, it did. It looks like I have another warning about my symbols. I should actually look at these. Oh, hold on. That's not that D display as stuff. That's not required. I'm pretty sure you can just. Now I'm looking at that, wondering. I want to make sure that that D was doing that not because of the high. That always does that, right? That's not just because I added that keybind. That I'm pretty certain. Yeah, that's just always been the behavior. So that's not. Yeah, I don't know why I had those settings in there as well. Oh, yeah. Please do, Fox. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's been really fun. Yeah, so if folks are not on the Binary Ninja Slack, Fox has been doing just some cool uh, game. I could yeah, it's like game cheat, like research and implementing different features on top of existing games, and got it approved as a university project. So it's been fun watching your progress on that and kind of feedback from the community and stuff. So that's very cool. API Slack, that's not the terminal. Mine is not the terminal. I don't follow there. All right. Okay, Tonto. So I have now installed Tonto. So let's do this. Let's go to, yeah, medium level IL works. And then let's come out here. That's not a good show feature map. I actually kind of want the feature map here. So this, oh, here we go. This, I'm trying to find a good function. Yeah, this is not a good binary. Let's do. Boombox might be a good one. This is actually from the Lighthouse repository. And let's do, this is max bv.functions key equals lambda x colon x dot len of x. Did I do it? No. X. I want the thing with the most basic blocks. The function with the most basic blocks. Yeah, the high level layout. Clearly there's some basic blocks in this function. Look at the indentation going on over here. That is amazing. Is that just a switch? No, it's not just this. Wait. No, that does feel like it might just be a switch statement that didn't get identified as such. Been true at OX27F0. What am I looking for there? Also, I'm running the latest Ubuntu, or not latest Ubuntu, I'm running 2104, so my bin true will almost certainly not be yours. And you're on Arch anyways, aren't you? Oh, is this? Oh, that's right. Thank you. The blog post. I think that's what you're talking about, right? The Tonto. No, not blog themes. Tonto. Yes, and so for context, this is what we're talking about. Actually, yeah, I think I have the binary here, don't I? I do. Oh, it was bash. Although that is a better test case. So yes, I would like to save the file. You can ask me where? No, you just gotta throw it somewhere. Cool. I think I have the samples folder. All right, so let's put that bash there because it's the same one. So anyway, yeah, so if you're not familiar with what Tonto is, Tonto, the idea is, so the concept of like program slicing, right, is to specifically take a binary and to like take the idea of like the basic blocks as a graph and to say, I don't care about the whole graph. The graph is everything this program could do, but a slice is like a subset of those nodes in the graph, right? It's just the ones that say got actually executed. So if you're running something like a Lighthouse, right, that does code coverage metrics where it'll run a bunch and then it will actually heat map, it's basically taking sort of execution slices and showing you visually by changing the color which one of these blocks were executed the most. So that's kind of the concept of a program slice. It's used a lot in like static analysis for you know, analyzing a subset of a function or of a binary. You might even take like a slice that's actually just of the control flow graph of all the function calls, right? So you may take like the call graph and then just look at a slice amongst those. So before I forget, I don't always change. I never change camera angle. It's kind of a weird thing. Also, I just realized the chat looks pretty not great on white. I should probably tweak that some and let it a little bit less in the background. Actually, I guess I could do that now. No, I can't because it's stream elements, so that's a little bit more of a headache. I'll do that later. And also, you know, this is the trend of something we're trying to do on all of our blog posts is every time we show off a binary, because it always drives me nuts when somebody shows something with a reverse engineering, and they're like, check out this plugin or check out this thing, and I ran it on this binary and I got these results. And I want to be like, I want to recreate those results. I would also like to look at that binary and see what it's doing. And oftentimes they don't do that. So we've got these little icons we're using here. And even better, you can actually just go straight to Ninja Cloud. So if you've got a Binary Ninja Cloud login, you can view that session as well and look at the exact same binary up in Cloud, which is kind of neat. So, okay, so that's the binary that was used in the blog post. So I'm gonna open that same version of Bash. And then unset no delay mode. All right, unset no delay mode. Okay, so here is a random function from Bash, and we can see it based on the fcntl. We are going to either just return basically with a -1, or we're going to do this other thing, which, yeah. Although I don't like the high level control flow recovery here all that much. It feels like combining the failure cases. So I don't know. I'm curious what the actual source looked like. It might have been something like that, except this almost. No, I guess it wouldn't have gotten inlined. Yeah, that's true. That's not unreasonable. Yeah, you're welcome, Scott. I'm glad to hear y'all appreciate that. But yeah, I think it's just funny when I realized that like it annoys me when other people don't make binaries available. So I was like, all right, company rule. We must always, when we're publishing like things and talking about binaries, like put the binary out there, let people try it. Okay, so what we've got here in the blog post is here's the original control flow graph, which we can just see here. And then here's a separate view. Now that I have Tonto installed, I think I could probably just take like, let's see, let's take the like the racks thing here, because like this is whatever this return value is, that's what, if it exists, we're like anding it with 800, this R8 is a copy of it, and there's other stuff happening to it. So like this is a variable that's interesting. So let's see if I can find, I've never used Tonto before, so I actually don't know. Plugins, right, Tonto's installed, right? Signatures. Tonto. Okay, it's loaded. I could probably read the blog post. Tonto slices. I should probably read. All right, so let's read how it's actually supposed to work. I ran it a while ago. I added the blog post, but I haven't tried it since then. So yeah, the idea is that we're just gonna like just take out a piece of the function, and in particular, what we're going to focus on is the piece of a function related to one variable. So this is a really, really useful concept, right? If you're looking at like a massive graph, but you know that the thing that you care about is just this variable, this basically lets you just view a subset of the graph that has to do with that variable, or that uses that variable, or as a copy of that variable, or things related to that. So I mean, it's a little bit like what I think a lot of reverse engineers normally do anyways. I just did it a second ago, right? Where you click on Racks 1 and you just want to see kind of the highlights. Which, fun fact, by the way, the highlights show up in the mini map. So even on a really big binary, it's actually kind of nice. In fact, let's run our same max thing. Let's see, blog equals here, so we can save it. I could use, it's funny, I could use tags and bookmarks. I really should use bookmarks to like remember the current location, and I always forget to do that. I just save the address into like a variable, and then later it'll just do here equals blog to like go back there. But anyway, so like we can go to this function, and so parameter brace expand. Oh man, apparently that is the most complicated logic in Bash. Is there syntax for brace expansion, which doesn't surprise me at all. River bathing, awesome. That sounds good, Fox. Have a good one. Take it easy. Oh, thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it. Kind words. Yeah, in fact, it's funny too, because when we announced our feature of Tonto, somebody even asked in a reply, they were like, this is actually really useful for more than just binaries. Like, why can't we do this in source code? Like, this is a really useful thing. Can you just show me the source code that has to do with this function? And so I do think that it's a powerful powerful technique. So oh yeah, what I was gonna show here was like let's look at var 80, and let's make this way taller. This may be too big. Oh, I think, is it here? Where am I at? Yeah, this one's actually too big. So I could pop it out and make a new window, and I don't want to do that right now. But anyway, the fact that the highlights even show up on that, like if you have a big secondary monitor, you can actually make the mini graph huge and then use that to drive navigation around, because you can still see these highlights. But like, again, it's kind of a workaround. That's what a lot of people do, is they'll like just click and then highlight. But of course, that doesn't work for like a copy of a variable. So like then you've got to go merge or split variable, which by the way is actually what Rusty is working on right now, if you're curious. So I think he's working on split first, if I want to say. Let's see, is open merge variables. Or is it split? One of the two. I think they're both. Oh, right. Okay, yes. So based on the assignee, that's how you can tell usually when something's being worked on. So this one's assigned. So it's either being triaged or it's actually actively being worked. And Rhino Rusty is actually working on this. So being able to do that in the UI is a really nice feature that I know Ida and I assume Ghidra have as well. Or already have, and Rusty's working to add that. So I could say, oh, you've chosen to split these two, but I actually want them to be combined together in one analysis to show that. So like, again, nice, but it's still way easier to just be able to get like a subset of the views. All right, so now I got to figure out where we go for Tonto, because I've talked about slices, but I want to actually see how we trigger it. So if I remember correctly, view show slices. Tonto slices. Okay, oh, there we go. Okay. And then tools, block slices. Or actually, tools get moved to plug. Okay, plugins, Tonto. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so and this is the other thing. The version of Tonto that was released with the blog post worked with doc widgets. But this has actually been totally redone. So the other nice thing is if you're a plugin author who has written plugins using the old doc widget APIs, this is a kind of good example of how to rework things to take advantage of the new pane view, right? Because you had both the before and after for Tonto. They're coming back in for dinner. Let's see if they realize I'm streaming. I was just going to see if you remembered I was streaming. I am. But hey, everybody, welcome back. Say hi, Peter. Hey, look, everyone say hi?
Hi.
No, you don't want to stick your head? See? Yay! Bye, Zane. Bye, Zane. Bye, John. Bye, John.
Next time.
All right. John said next time because I've been given him a hard time about coming on stream. Yeah, exactly. It's a pretty common workflow. So it's been one of the top issues we've had of like merging or splitting, right? Sometimes you want to split it and it's different uses. So yeah, it's exactly like aliasing the variables. The idea is that you would be able to like take two variables and say, no, actually make them one variable and show all the uses as the same thing. Or conversely, the compiler reuse a register and you're pretty sure it was 2 variables, but Bija thinks it's just 1 variable, you know, through more than it should be. You can now split these up and say like actually treat them as 2 separate variables. So that one's underway right now. But okay, so back to Tonto, right? The idea is that we've got the slices being made over here, and the slices are like this subgraph. So let's go back to, see, I told you I was gonna do this. Here equals blog. Bye, Peter. Have a good weekend. Happy 4th of July. So on this particular one, I think like let's take that that rax1, and we're gonna call this like what is FCNTL? Sorry. It's manipulate descriptor. What's the command is 3, and the arg was, yeah, I'm gonna, okay, so we're just gonna call this, what is actually was a return. That's the important part. It returns on success a new FD. Okay, so we're actually, yeah, we're gonna name this FD. All right, so we've got, and this is also an FD, FDN. But right here, like this is a great example because like this, we start with the file descriptor here, but then we make a copy, we do some other stuff, but then we go back and work on the original one. Yeah, actually, I should have really just typed it as well, right? And 32 is what's got there, but it's fine. So right, let's go add this to our Tonto. So Tonto, and by the way, Tonto actually comes from the name of like a blade, like the ninja knife, the little like dagger kind of thing, or sword. I guess it's a short sword technically. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. So the idea of it's slicing, it's a ninja, which yeah, it's a good name. Like we don't always force things to be ninja themed, but if it's particularly apt, it's got to take advantage of it. All right, so let's Tonto add, yeah, just add variable to slice. So we should be able to say like, please slice this variable, or do I have to add the function first? Okay, so Tonto add variable, no function selected. I have this function selected. This function selected. What did I do wrong? Can I add a basic block? I have to do that first. Add block to slice. Oh, okay. So I have to select the starting variable and block, I guess. Oh, actually, by starting the block, I just did the whole thing. Okay, yeah. So let's do. But now if I switch to a different function, I bet it goes away. No, it's still there. Okay, so let's Tonto clear selection. Okay, I would probably end up binding these to hotkeys if I was using this a lot. Yeah, so I think the idea is that like, okay, if I want to get to like this basic block and everything this basic block can go to, I can just say, yeah, so there's sort of 2 modes. One is add the block. All right, now this right here is what that function looks like just from the perspective of this one basic block. So these are all the things that you can get to from that basic block and can get to that basic block, but not anything else, right? So it looks like a massive graph, and it is. It's still a big graph, but it should be smaller than, well, in this case, it's not a whole lot smaller. It's almost the same. Presumably because you just had this one extra node that was totally, yeah, this is a fairly linear tree where any of these can come down into it. So there is a path. Basically, yeah, that's actually kind of useful. It tells me that basically this is a pretty serial function, which makes sense. Yeah, there's not like a lot of big, branching paths where early on you would choose and then never hit the other stuff. You can always. Actually, wait, does that? These are back edges. Yeah, the back edges from here back up into here even. Yeah, so it looks like you might assume at a glance that this went off and did some other stuff and then exited out. Oh, and the colors mean stuff too, right? So what do the colors mean? I actually have to look this up. What are the different colors? I'm curious. Does Tonto have anything in the README? Just the image right now. So yeah, I want to know what are the different colors. I think, yeah, Kyle's definitely not around today. I would ask Kyle. Color. What color? Well, inquiry minds want to know. I should have caught that earlier. Like, what do so? I mean, just looking at it though, right? You can kind of get a sense, except for this one. I don't. Oh, that's right. That one goes. No, it doesn't go away. It is still shown. Um. Oh, toggle missing children highlight. Yeah. So there's a bunch of others. I haven't. Yeah. All right. What does this one do? So Tonto slices. No, I think I think do this menu. Tonto, toggle, block highlights, block selection, line highlights, missing children selection highlight, missing children highlight. Oh, okay. So okay. So I've sliced that function. Which children are missing from? No, I'm not sure what that is. I'll actually follow that right now. So we've got toggle all highlights, toggle block highlights. Toggle all, is it actually toggle? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's applying the highlight information back to the original function graph too. So you can actually, so that's using the highlight API. That makes sense. Now if I do it again, does it clear it? It's clear selection. Or just toggle highlights again. Yeah, toggle again turns them off. Okay, that's cool. Right. So you use the UI to like select the variables or well blocks in this case because I'm doing block selection basically. And once you've got everything selected right, then you say, okay, that block that I had, I want to show subgraph replacement. I think that's the one that I really want, right? Subgraph replacement should be the ability to like slice it down. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and look at the yeah. Yeah, the variable slicing is far more interesting. So I'm gonna actually go back and look through here. Oh, right. See, I should have read the blog post again before I did this. Oh, and it does say yellow. Oh, okay, hold on. So there are colors here. Right. So show addresses. And then any block in the original that could branch that has been eliminated by the slice is highlighted in yellow on both sides. Toggle missing children. Subgraph replacement. This is the one that I like. Oh, no, that's right. Subgraph replacement, right, says, yeah, it just folds them into like this like empty block. So it can take, it's taking all of these missing children and just collapsing them. And showing just the one path out. Because it doesn't, it's interesting because yeah, even though this branch out comes in the middle of this cluster, by kind of, this is a little bit like the collapse basic block feature in IDA. All right, so let's play with it for a bit and let's see if I can figure this out a little more intuitively. So let's go find oh, this works. Okay, so I think if I take, let's do this. Tonto, let's try clear selection. Tonto basic block. Add block to slice. Oh, there we go. Okay, so right. That's a good example. And I think I must do, I have toggle. Yeah, I had previously toggled missing children. Ooh, feature request. I need to make a note before I forget it. All right, so feature request for Tonto. The toggle stat should be shown in the menu. That's actually kind of more of a feature request for the action system too. I don't know if there's a way to change the state here so you can show whether it was toggled on or off in an action system currently. It's still doable for Tonto to do that because you can easily, you don't have to use the action system to do these things, or you can add an action that's separate from the menu that you add and use like regular Qt, yeah, custom menus to add anything you want to like add a toggle, whatever, so you can see if it's on or off. But it'd be really nice to see explicitly what is or is not. Like if I do toggle subgraph replacement, it'll make those come back. Oh no, that's right. Sub replacement just makes them go away entirely. And then, all right, so I still like the basic block one, but let's clear this out. Let's find a variable. Let's go back to our big function. Is that right? Oh no, what happened? Oh, there's my space shortcuts. Oh no, I killed it, Jim. He's dead. There's a little hint there for another thing we're going to talk about. I think I just crashed it, right? Oh, no, wait. Oh, this is just my window manager being bad. Okay. That's just really slow in my VM. Hold on, what's going on? I suspect if there's a performance limit, Tonto being in Python and working on the largest function I could find here, we might be running up into performance limits on it. Oh, we do have some errors actually. What do those say? Oh, yeah, sure enough. We're running into some bugs here. So let's yeah, parameter brace expand. I'll make a note of that. All right, let's I'm impatient, so I'm just gonna kill this. Kill all binary ninja, binja. Let's rewrite that binary. I don't think y'all can hear that probably, but there is a rousing game of Smash going on in the other room. And so occasionally I hear like these screams in the background of like people yelling out. Yeah, that's a good question. If we would consider porting Tonto for performance reasons. Yeah, I do think that actually is interesting. I don't know that it's currently on the roadmap, but I think it's a good candidate for it, especially because as we just saw, like it looked like it was at least, although it may not have been performance, it may have just been that Python exception that got triggered may have like actually just been a bug where it was looping or something unrelated to just general like Python performance. Actually, main is honestly pretty good here. I might just let's switch this one over to Tonto. That's right, it doesn't show up as a new view here. Instead, you can trigger it by making. Wait, what? Where did my Tonto go? Tonto. It's loaded, right? Plugin. Oh, sorry. First, you have to turn on the view. Okay, that's right. Then it registers. Then it does it? No. Okay, something else is. VM's a little sluggish. Isolated web. No. I don't see any CPU utilization going crazy. So it could be. I might have killed Tonto. Oh no. Okay, no, it's responding fine. Except where are I'm just so used to having addresses on. It looks weird to see medium level layout without addresses. Home users chat source bash. Huh. What? Where's it's a little annoying. Oh, I could, yeah, I'm used to having my sideways scrolling mouse. Let's see. All right. Okay. So let's just get a graph view. Let's go find a variable. Yeah. Dispose word. I wonder how much it does backward slicing. I guess we could try it. So let's see here. Let's try it again. Tonto, add variable to slice. Oh no. Well, there is a bug, at least on this particular, or I've selected the wrong form. I wonder if it only works on like high level IL or wouldn't think so. Oh good, I can get the Tonto here. Add variable to slice. Oh, okay, there we go. That's cool. Oh, maybe that's why. I bet I was just doing it on medium level IL and it's designed for high level IL. Yeah, that could be. Let's see. Yeah. Yes. Oh, okay. Well, user error, that definitely explains a number of the problems I was running into. So I just did a slice in this Rax 11 and now, okay, that's way better. Now let's look at this. Okay, that's a whole lot better. That's what I expected to see. Okay, note to self. Tonto should not or does not work well on MLL. We should warn the user. All right, so I think that was a little bit my fault, but that's good to know. Yeah, you're right, JC. Thank you. And if I would have remembered that, I would have saved myself some pain. All right, so by selecting that one variable, now, where's my zoom? Oh, I'm not focused. There we go. Yeah, I think I did this error from token, right? So this is the basic block, and it's gonna tell me everything leading up to it. Like, where did this stuff all come from? Interesting that the graph, I don't think I've ever seen the graph layout do this before, where it puts some of the, like it centered it. It's almost like, it's still like top down, but see how I feel. Thank you for bringing the drink.
It's okay. Bye.
See you next week. Yeah, it's basically the only time I make interns bring coffee. Actually, usually we bring coffee to the interns because Peter makes good coffee. So I wanted that, yeah, so there was an error token from token. And so I said, yeah, give me all the stuff where this Rax 11 came from. My hotkeys are 3C, 10B. What? Oh, is numlock not on? I don't even know where numlock is. 3C, 10B. Okay, what is this label? Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, so it's one of the incoming edges of that. That one, yeah, which is okay. That's kind of what I expected then, but right. So this lets us just get a new graph for just that particular variable and kind of reanalyze the whole binary. So that works significantly better. And now, let's see. Toggle missing children, selection highlight. Yeah, next time I'm going to actually ask Kyle to come on and show this off. Should make him demo all the features. Toggle block highlight. So I think I can, yeah, so the highlights are already toggled here. So that's the other nice thing is once I've run it on that variable, in even just the main view, I don't even have to have like Tonto slices like up here. Or actually, I probably do because I think it's, no. Oh, okay, that loading the view loads the plugin the first time, but once it's loaded, you don't have to have it visible, which is interesting. Now, when I bring it back, yeah, you still, yeah, so to bring it back, you're still going to do view Tonto slices. Okay. That's interesting. Oh, Tonto should be visible without instantiating the view. Well, it was not quite as pretty of a walkthrough of the features as I was hoping for, but that's on me for going into it blind. I shouldn't be surprised. But yeah, that was much better. You can definitely see it's highlighting and the different colors, even within each line, yeah, too. So even like once you've highlighted that variable, it shows you not only just the basic blocks, but then you can look at the specific lines that influence that variable or had something come out of it. So that's, and then I think it, well, here, let's just split it. I think this highlights, do they mostly are going to translate, yeah, because the way the highlighting works is you can't do a highlight just on, sorry, I just realized chat was invisible. Yeah, it was actually only doing backward slicing. So what I did was I gave it, well, actually, it may not only do backward slicing, it just may not do slicing through a call because I told it slice on racks 11 right here, right? And so it gave me, so all the stuff that it highlighted is all of the stuff, which is, even though like this one's below it, I think it actually loops back around and can come in above it. Like this control flow here determines whether or not you hit this state, and this variable comes from parse. Yeah, the slicing thinks that for some reason there's this this control flow here. It can take you back. Yeah, right down here. If you go down this dispose route here, right? Yep. Oh wait. Yeah, it took us right back into. No, I lied. It did not. It took us into this. It took us into the return condition. And where's my back button? Wait, why is back not working? What'd I do? I hit the wrong button. Oh, it was back. I had to, the only navigation I'd done was there. Yeah, this is a pretty good example of where the edge routing really could be better, because you'll notice that like literally the source and the destination are both on screen, but it literally goes left and then goes right and then goes off screen and comes left again just to get down here. Although I will say, just being able to like highlight it, at least you can see that. But yeah, it's definitely doing backward slicing because, like I said, I told it slice on this thing and got all of these control flows above it that influenced, you know, for example, this whether it took this path and then here or whether it skipped it. This control flow back was important. This control flow path was important, whether this block ran. So the state of this variable is influenced by this and by this and by, or the state at, you know, as that variable is analyzed is coming from all these highlighted instructions. So, oh yeah, even, yeah, green is, so is green direct? It's REI 17. Green is racks 14. So where does this one come from? Oh yeah, racks 24. That was racks 14 and 24. Which, right, can be 119. And it came from this thing, this read token const prop. And so whether or not this even ran, yeah, so does that make sense, right? It's telling me this variable came from this, which we know had a constraint upon it, and whether or not it was set by this value was determined. Actually, no, either way, both these routes through it, you're going to hit this one. So the idea is that we should just be able to look at the highlighted code. I want to say, let's see what it says about green. Does it say what green is? Okay, yeah, so it's instructions that use it are highlighted, and control flow required to reach those instructions that don't use it. So green is a backslice use of that variable or a copy of that variable or something like if a variable was directly like added, or I think it had any kind of direct relationship with, then that's a green. And if it's yellow, it's this comparison doesn't directly use that variable, but it controls the flow down to it and therefore could directly input it or influence it. Yep, that's it, Brinley. For once, I had an agenda and posted it beforehand. So we did kind of the code changes, and you can definitely go back and check out the updates there. And now we're doing Tonto, and then we got a couple other things. So it's gonna be a little bit longer of a stream. So welcome. Yeah, no worries. That's what recaps are for. And we're trying to be good about editing too. So if you have friends that are not those that watch long streams, I sometimes have a hard time watching long streams. So my feelings are not hurt. But we're trying to get the edited videos put up. So if one from last or 2 streams ago where we did the 3.1 feature list, that is being edited right now. So we should have like a much shorter video of 3.1. Absolutely. This blog is live. It was posted a couple weeks ago, and I'm gonna put it in chat. Yeah, so we basically what people have been watching is me fumble around and relearn how this. If you just read the blog post, you'll know more than I did for when I started the stream, because I had forgotten everything I read in the blog post a couple weeks back. And we were just looking at how we can select either a block or a variable. Work on high level AL. That was one important lesson learned. I was doing it on medium level AL, which was not intended, and honestly, it should actually just stop you and tell you that. I think, because behavior was a little bit weird. Or maybe I was just doing it wrong. I can go back and look and see. And Kyle will let us know. But yeah, there we go. So that's Tonto. And I will note, if you run, actually, this is a good example too. I mentioned earlier, Tonto is a good example of a plugin that use both the old doc widget and the new style, but we can even like run and show that. So if I go back to Binary Ninja stable and I rerun Binary Ninja and I run this, you'll notice that Tonto plugin still loads, but it's not going to have panes anymore because there are no panes. Wait, oh no, this is, yeah, sorry, this is not the older. This is I need pre 3.0, or yeah, do I have a pre 3.0? Anyway, or maybe no, this still might be the version that. No, I think this one's still that version. I think it's if I go find old stable. What did I call it? I don't have a really old stable sitting right now. Actually, I guess I can do it later, but yeah, that's an obvious application, Daniel, of something like that. Yeah, like can you basically? I mean, that's really like exactly what Anger does, right? Like when you use Anger to solve a reversing challenge, or to say compute me a path or an input, it's literally doing exactly that. It creates a slice. It turns those constraints into Z3 constraints, and then says, prove you can achieve that. And then Z3 is like, yeah, here you go. Like this is what each of those things need to be. And then I mean, obviously it has some other intelligence around it too. And there's with being able to make it interactive and have multiple targets and have things that you want to avoid and that kind of stuff. But it's the basic premise of it. So, all right, let us now switch to kind of like the general topic of user studies, user surveys, how we take feedback from people. And I'm glad we got a good audience today, because Anger has lots of nifty features. It's got honestly, Anger has more like program analysis stuff than Binary Ninja does. Obviously, I think Binary Ninja has more program analysis features than any of the other typical reversing tools. But there's still all sorts of nice stuff that Anger has. Symbolic execution. I might nitpick its performance, or maybe, yeah, there we go. Well, and again, it kind of depends. Like if what you're doing day to day is just reversing and not automation, you're not going to use Anger as much. Although they do have Anger management now, so they have a decompiler, and it's made dramatic improvements. So if you're not, I don't know why I shouldn't be telling people about Anger management, should I? No, they do good stuff. In fact, there is something we've been working on with them and a few other people. So keep an eye out. I guess it's already out. It's just we need to fix it. This is already live, by the way. But there's a thing where you can upload a binary and get it decompiled in Binja, Anger, Ghidra, and IDA as well. So ILFAT graciously gave a license for it as well. So we just need to finish up the integration of the IDA infrastructure, and then we're going to publish this a little more widely. So please don't like tweet this and stuff yet, because I feel bad because ILFAT gave us the license like a month or two ago, and I still haven't finished it up. It's not kind of done yet, but we've been working with some of the folks in the Anger team, because I think it was Matt, I forget his handle, who published something kind of like this too, and we had something internally we've been working on. So anyway, a little sneak peek. Y'all can definitely go play with it. But that's something we're working on with them. So, like I said, they're good folks. But their UI is Qt, make good choices, except PySide, right? Because it's all Python. They don't have native, and they've actually got like a whole Jupyter console, which is nifty because you get a lot of stuff for free, which is nice there. But it then I think really doesn't have the same kind of integration between state that like maybe Binja does with its scripting console, but again, it's come a long way and got all sorts of nifty features. And so if you want to do more experimental things, you can turn passes on and off, and it's kind of like a little bit like our workflow stuff. So yeah, no, it's improved a ton. It still, I feel like, has a habit of like breaking when you step too far out of what it's been kind of well tested in. But they're fast about fixing stuff, and yeah, it's worth checking out. So certainly an option. And again, you'll be able to like check it out. Hopefully we can finish adding IDA in there soon, and then all these other ones you can even check out, but they're not, I don't think we'll turn any of the other ones on by default, because I don't think most people would consider the decompilation quality worth it, honestly. But Anger, Binja, Ghidra, and IDA, you'll be able to upload a file and let it go. So hopefully we'll get that up and going soon. Anyway, all that to say, I like the Anger folks, and I think they're doing good work. So back to tying up Z3, pop. What else are we going on? All right, so back to how we do rewolf or dwolf. I know what you're talking about. I think it's dwolf decompiler. Is it called dwolf? Yeah, that's the one built on Binary Ninja. They start with MLIL and do some other optimizations on top of it. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Right now, I'm paying a little bit more than I'd like in terms of like the infrastructure, because we have like some dedicated machines to try to make it reasonably performant instead of just doing it one after another. Yeah, I think Dream, though, maybe wasn't necessarily the best target to go after. I have some issues with some of that stuff, but it is cool. I'm gonna make a note of that before I forget. And let me copy the URL before I forget. All right. It's not, so to be clear, this is not a thing from, I mean, I happen to be footing the bill now just because we were already working on stuff and just went ahead and did it, but this is a collaborative thing. So this is specifically a new organization, and like I said, it's being co-run with Matt, who's one of the Anger devs, and Glenn from Vector 35 has worked on it. So it's, where's the... Did I already link it? I think I already, I clicked the wrong tab. No, that was it. Yeah. So you can see, like I said, it's already out there, and you can even, if you got licenses to Binary Ninja and IDA, you can actually run a copy yourself internally too. And obviously all the other tools are all open source. Oh, and even the Hopper dev actually has given us a license. It's just harder to automate Hopper in this way because of the way that its license stuff works. It's going to be arbitrarily slower. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things that we want to do. We want to clean up the output so Binary Ninja doesn't get different colors and everything else. It's just, we had nice styling already, but we'd really like everybody to be styled and more consistently. And then maybe like theming or, add IDA. So there's just stuff to do, but it's kind of like a side thing. So commits are welcome though. So it is public. Like I said, I just don't want it to be like, I don't want to advertise widely yet, only because, like I said, I want to get IDA in there because LFAC was super cool to support it. So, all right. But anyways, y'all, stream gets to see it, and yeah, no worries. All right, so back on the topic of user feedback, right? One of the things we're always debating is, are we prioritizing the right features? I mean, I talk about every week on the stream like what the milestones are, so I know it's like old hat to y'all, like what we're working on and kind of how we're sorting things up by topic area, and but like sometimes we as developers, all we focus on are the things that aren't done yet and that we're working on and that are coming soon. So I will spell 35 right, I promised. So there we go. Okay, so we had our user survey back in 2021. Oh yeah, I forgot we gave a bunch of good stuff. And if you did that survey, don't, I mean, you can fill it out now, but we're gonna be launching the new one, in just a couple months here, so we're not too far off from it. But there's just a bunch of data about like why people reverse engineer, how, what they like, what they don't like, and if they said specifically at the end, if they've had a Binary Ninja license, we asked them some specific questions about what do you like best, what do you like least, what needs the most work, and this is what I was working on right at the beginning of the stream. This was the list of, I need a better set of Vim movements to like do this, because like the checkbox at the end of the line, it's bad for copy paste. I know there's like a yank under character problem. Isn't it just Y period? But then like pasting it at the end of the line. See, it's not doing what I want. I feel embarrassed at how bad my Vim foo is for this particular one. All right, there we go. I have all the checkboxes in. Spite was my favorite answer to put on the survey. Oh, let me move my camera up a little bit. I'm standing up. I've been sitting in the chair too long. So this was, Peter like went through the feedback, and then when there was like open notes on like what parts of Binary Ninja that we don't yet have do you most want, or what part needs the most work, or like what's general feedback and stuff that you're like, this is an important thing I want to change. And this was the list. Like this was the list of the most common, or things that were like kind of trends. People were like, I really want to decompile to C. Oh, that's done now. We did that. Oh, they really, there's a bunch of complaints about performance. Oh man, the 3.1 performance, we talked about that. There was tons of performance stuff that changed. Also, I should maybe make this bigger. Debugger rewrite. Yep, that's underway. Well in hand and making great progress. Type parser. Yep, that's on dev already. You can get Clang anytime you do new type parsing. It uses that. Supports a ton more other stuff. Fix the Windows layout. Now we've got and not only like improved the save layout stuff, but like the sidebar layout, all like the brand new layout. Stack view was hotly requested. Collaboration, of course, is on enterprise. Apple Silicon support. I missed documentation, and so this is supposed to just be this here. The idea is like it's a tilde. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for staying up. See ya. This is old. So this survey result. Oh wait, June. Oh no, I see what you're saying. I named the stream wrong. Oh no. Okay, hold on. Can I do this? I think I could. Can I fix this live? Thanks. Good catch. July, and let me go back to the intro scene and fix that. Okay, that outline actually didn't have the date. That's funny. Thank you. I've done that before too, I swear. I appreciate you mentioning that. July 1st, safe. I don't know if it updates live, but pause it before y'all hear myself talking to myself. Yeah, thank you, Mizu. I appreciate that very much. Bad with dates. All right, so yes, so this is a new video. So we already spent some time reviewing recent changes and talking about the Tonto plugin. Now we're talking about the results from the Binary Ninja survey that went out a year ago. And this is just sort of like all the things that people requested or really wanted. And literally everything is either completely done and has been done, or like documentation is not totally done yet. And so Peter and I were kind of brainstorming and talking about this is something that like we've improved the documentation. And this is where I would love some feedback from chat too, or anybody watching this video later, definitely let us know. What are ways that we can improve the documentation? So we've come a long way from, I don't know what hotkey I hit to make that. No. To make this maximized. Isn't it like F11 normally? Oh, I don't know what it, oh, that's the wrong window. Oh yeah, wait, nope, nope, not it. Anyway, well, this is my life now. I'm full screen. Hold on, there's a way to do it over here. Settings, more tools, whatever. So actually washed out too. Is it just me? I totally lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Oh, documentation. Thank you. All right. Yeah, feature parity between C++ and Python API in particular. Oh, that is good feedback. You know what? Hold on. Let me copy and paste that Valgrind into our into the work Slack where I'm making stream notes. That's a great point. Yeah, there's only a very few rough edges where you can do something in Python, but you shouldn't. You should use C++. Relocations, architectures if performance matters, workflows, right? And those need to have notes in those APIs being like warning, warning. That's a great point. So when a lot of people ask for documentation, like, you know, the debate is like they want API examples. And it's like, well, like we've got the API docs, but that only tells me like a specific API bit of help. And that's not really all that much what I want. Or maybe what people want is like my little snippets gist, which I have to find it. Do I call it snippets? I think I do, but I think it's over here. Yeah, there it is. So it's a good question, Brinley. I would say the vast majority of the time we're not surprised by the things that people want. What sometimes is surprising is like the volume, where we're like, oh yeah, that's important, but then we don't realize like, oh no, it's like really important. So I would say the items on the list are almost never surprising, but sometimes the magnitude is. Like we don't always, like I would say we were happy and we made it one of the headlining features like sudo C with the 3.0 release, right? Like oh yeah, we're gonna add the sudo C support. And Zane did awesome work on it and like really championed that. And afterwards we got a ton of feedback where people were like, oh my gosh, this has been holding me back. And we're like, oh, we didn't realize, like, yeah, we knew it was gonna be a big deal. But Glenn, welcome. Did I summon you by mentioning also did you fly today? Did you just land? Then welcome. I mentioned I highlighted Glenn in Slack about Dogbolt. Dogbolt came up briefly. I showed it to people. It's already like the cat is out of the bag, right? But I did say I asked people not to share it, just because we want to get IDA in there. So, oof, 6 hours. That is brutal. My wife flew to Canada this morning with my daughter, and they thankfully made it through with no stuff. But I know like flights are getting canceled left and right. Yeah, so I would say, Brinley, like usually like the survey anyways, most of the time we agree and aren't surprised by, but sometimes like the magnitude. Now that takes me to the next topic though, which is the survey is just like some checkboxes, right? The survey has, and let me pull that page up. No, that's not the right URL. Glenn, if you're still on, can you DM, where's the wiki? Send it to me on Slack because I'm in the wrong machine. I was going to pull up the some of the notes we had made from user surveys after anonymizing them. But no big deal if not, if you're like in the airport where we're still hanging out. So yeah, you get a certain amount of feedback from like a survey if you ask people, and then you get a different type of feedback if you just like tell people, hey, can we watch you use Binja? Like we'd like to watch you like run it for a while. And so if you're in the public Slack, you'll know that Peter put out an announcement a couple days ago saying, hey, I have a survey. And in fact, that survey looks an awful lot like the one I just showed you from a year ago. It's very similar to that, but the idea is he's just trying to find out what types of work people do who are willing to let us like just watch what you do. Like join Zoom, use Binja, and we just kind of want to watch you because we want to see. Sometimes there are things that people just don't know how to do, which means we made it like hard to find that feature, or it wasn't immediately obvious from the UI, or that we need better, user guide documentation to describe things. A great example was that D hotkey that I was just hitting before. Like a lot of people, we did the first kind of round of it. Several people didn't know that hotkey, and it's like, oh right, I guess if you've never used IDA and you didn't have that muscle memory, that would not have been intuitive. And so how are you supposed to find that? So, that's one of the things that we were, let me make sure I keep chat up. One of the things we were looking at is, if I select let me just bring it somewhere over here. And like, if I have this variable, I've got display at, like, nowhere in here does this tell me that I can hit D to cycle through these types and it's fast and quick. Like, that's not obvious. So like, how do we fix that? How do we tell people or make that obvious that they can do that? And then likewise, once Peter showed somebody how to do that, they were trying to do it over in the types view. And that's when, and he was like, oh, wow, that's a bug that doesn't happen there. So that bug that we fixed this last week directly came from watching somebody use Binary Ninja and then realizing that one, we hadn't made it clear, like, a lot of tools require so much like this arcane knowledge, and you just have to kind of know or sit and watch a stream for hours and then hear Jordan casually mention something that he takes for granted because he's a developer. And like, that's not good product design. How do we make it so people can learn about the stuff? Part of it's maybe making shorter little videos where we talk about things, and part of it is better documentation, and part of it is how to make the design hint and help you and do that kind of stuff. So like, we really do spend a lot of time. It's not fixed yet. No, one was, okay, one of your fixes Peter did land because I tried it. In the type view, you can hit D now. That one is fixed, right? Like if I hit D on this, I changed it from 32 to 64. So that you did fix that. There are still lots of other things from that that study that are not fixed, right? Exactly, Brinley. So that's the idea. And sometimes, we do a user study and we're like, oh man, this thing that's obvious to us is totally not obvious to other people. But those things aren't stuff they usually fill out on a survey. That requires us to actually just watch people. So that's why we're asking for that kind of stuff. Sorry, I'm just catching up on chat, making sure I didn't miss anything else. Yay. Okay, so Scott, here's the question for you. First, glad to hear that an example helped you. Which example were you looking at? Were you looking at like one of the snippets? Were you looking at a plugin that's in the plugin manager? Were you looking at like the user docs and like the working with types? Because this is the question we're trying to figure out. Like, so I mentioned, like on this list, documentation is specifically like like we've improved the documentation a lot. Like I will say I was a little defensive because I work a lot in the documentation. So I was like, no, every time I see somebody ask a question and it wasn't answered in the docs and it should have been, we try to go and update that. But there's no question, there's a lot more we can do. And so, one of the things that we talked about doing was, what if the gist with all of the little snippets of plugins, like for people who want to work with the API, recipes, right, or little snippets like this are often more useful than either just raw API docs, because I don't know what APIs even exist. I'm not going to sit and read every single one of these. These are massive. These are for if I already have an idea or want to look at more information maybe. Or I could go to the plugin. I can go to like the community plugin repository and community plugins, and I could go like, okay, find every one of these massive plugins. They're not all massive, but like, go look at some plugin and like, oh, okay, wow, now I've got to like try to figure out how it does a thing. That was easier, except no, it's not, because there's a bunch of other stuff, explainer window, where does, I've got like, these are much bigger projects. And so pulling out how stuff works from them is much more difficult than just saying, oh, here's a thing that kind of does, where was it? Yeah, here's a thing that kind of does what I want. Let's do that. So, one thing we're considering doing right now is, and I'm going to be very meta, I'm going to write a snippet that will take all the snippets, because I already have code that actually downloads them all anyways, right? So this one right here already will connect to this to this gist, and it will download all of the different snippets. Well, instead I'm going to have it take them, pull out the metadata description, and turn it into something like more markdown-like that we could just put in the user docs. And so we can live update the, every release, or maybe every stable we do it. There's like a plugins developer guide. Oh, API Python plugins. Maybe there's like a example section right in here. It's a separate file, and it just says, or recipes, I think might be a good word for it. And so, and just have it show all of those things with descriptions of them. So you could just, when you're looking through like the user guide, you can do that. I think we also need to change like the organization. The getting started guide is this massive thing now. It's not a getting started guide. This is actually just the documentation basically, and needs like it needs to be either split up or organized or better table. Like it does have this nice table of contents here, which is nice that MKDocs gives us that flexibility, but it just feels like we shouldn't just call this the getting started guide. This should be called documentation. Oh, did I say workflows and I meant the generic version of it? Yeah. Use cases. This is one of the arguments we've had internally about whether to call our workflows feature workflows, because it does name collide a little bit with the generic term. So anyway, so I think like adding a section here for like examples that had like annotated examples, or examples with yeah, we call this user documentation. Yeah, user guide. Exactly, Glenn. I think that's right. This should say user documentation, and there already is a user guide. It's right here, and then everything under get started should actually just really be under the user guide, and it should say like, we should actually have a getting started thing, which is just which actually contains a simpler version of how you load a file, and then the main UI elements, right? And then the details should go under the user guide into like subsections, but like reorganizing that stuff, I think that would be helpful. It's gotten kind of big. So something on our to-do list, which was helpful by kind of reviewing the survey, reminded ourselves. The other one, I put like this sort of like tilde, I was like high-level IO improvements. There have been several high-level IO improvements, but not as many as we could have. Like there's really still some big ones that are scheduled for this release, like the merging and splitting of variables. I think that and array detection, right, are probably like the top two high-level IO features, most requested high-level IO features. And I don't think arrays are tagged for this release. Correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, if you're still on, or I could go look it up. But and then so like these other, obviously we added multi-threading to personal. We've made a ton of improvements to type libraries. We showed that off in previous streams. Added literally over 1,000 new type libraries for Windows, mostly Windows, but other platforms as well. And the only one that we've done nothing so far on this list from like a year ago, or almost 9 months ago, was named constants. In other words, I think that's issue 5 binary image API issues 1216. Oh, I already have it open. Yeah, switch to tab. Thanks. Thank you, Firefox. I think that's this one. So, right, the idea of like you've got an enum, or you've got a constant or a name, and you want to apply it to like some value. So a parameter has a value. You can do that. You can say like, okay, there's a parameter to let's actually close this down. Tonto's highlighting. I don't really want it right now. So say there's like and this is really especially important on Windows, right? Where a bunch of like error codes or whatever are passed as arguments, and it's some just obscure long thing. Yes, you can. Uh, you can mark it as a parameter. So I'm just looking for like a function call with something interesting. Come on, give me a constant in the function call. There we go. Right. Also, I'm gonna disable Tonto because I feel like it's maybe, or it's my VM acting up again. It wouldn't be the first time. Every now and then processes like this. Actually, this whole box needs to be reinstalled. Okay, yeah. So right, thank you, Peter. Arrays are not currently scheduled for the next release, but like I said, that's one of the remaining kind of big high level features that we know is needed. No, I think it's just a big, decently sized binary. It was still kind of analyzing, which is why it was getting a little slower before. Surprise documentation is on there. Oh, okay. So yeah, Eric, you're surprised because you feel like it is currently good quality. Like we have a lot of good documentation. Yes, and that's in the past that's kind of been my response of like I think our documentation is way better than everything else. Except I will say actually Ghidra has fantastic context sensitive help, which is really nice. The fact that anywhere in the UI you can bring up a help dialog by hitting F1 and it's got context sensitive help. They clearly put a lot of time into their documentation, which is pretty decent. For at least like the UI, right, and for how things work there. But cheers. Have a good weekend. Happy 4th. But like it still doesn't mean that like we can't do better. And if we can by just simply moving things around or making documentation easier to find, or if we can improve the state of things, like we want to do that. So we're always still working on that. But so like you can, okay, so back to the named constant. You can name this right now. And that'll work, right? You can create an enum with a lookup and have this value in it, and that will replace it. That works just fine. But if there's just some constant loaded, like a equals, well, in this case it's a string. But if it was like actually, or even like naming a constant in a comparison or something, if there's some just immediate value that gets used, well, one's not. It's a parameter too. So, if you see a constant being used, there we go, right? So this, if I would just want to name this, right, and call it something else, and apply a constant like a known kind of constant pool or like a set of like common error codes or whatever it tends to be, common on Windows. That's one that hasn't actually been worked on, but it's scheduled for 3.2. So the only one on that whole list of like things that we look for feedback that wasn't actually done basically or made substantial progress on is already scheduled to be done soon. So that was kind of exciting. Yeah, I mean the Slack. So the Slack community helps a ton, but not everybody wants to join the Slack. Not everybody is willing to do that. Exactly. Yeah, Valgrind too. That's kind of my perspective. I think it's good, but like, don't stop. We can clearly reorganize the main docs, get them better. Let's find out like what are the things that people tried that didn't help them that they would have expected to, like tell us so we can make it. Because I think we're getting to the point now where most of the time we have good documentation. It's just a question of it's in the place you expect. Some of it's in like the discussion questions on the API, right? Like there's actually a bunch of topics and things there now, questions that have been answered. And we try to go, try to be really good about like answering every single question on this. And these are for like longer discussions about more in-depth use of the API or whatever, like limitations or what we're doing to support. Like, Slack, you can get those questions, but then some people don't want to ask, they just want to be able to find it. So I think finally that has really taken off. So thanks to like, friends of ours like Jay, who've said for years, like you need a forum, you need something that has like long-term memory because searching Slack doesn't work when you don't have the history. So yeah. I mean, it depends on your workflow, and there's a lot of reasons that Slack is good, and there's a lot of reasons it's not, and it's not good for everybody. It's not good for like really long, well thought out things where like you're gonna like try to get some time from with a bunch of developers to like, sit and sometimes we feel like there's a time crunch on Slack where we gotta like just say something because we don't want people to feel like they're not getting heard. But like some of these questions just there is no quick answer, and it takes like a lot of explanation. But oh, look at this. Oh no. Oh, that's shameful. All right, team, this is shameful. We left the discussion with BRB. I'm going to our Slack to. All right. So I'm catching up on the snarky comments happening behind the scenes from Vectorites who are watching. Yeah, so like the discussion I think it's really useful, but well, I mean, how do people find it? Is it in here? Okay, well, it is now actually. We have ask a question, right? And it takes you to, I think, where'd it go? Yeah, it actually opened up this new tab, right? It takes you to discussions. And so we're trying to like find ways, but that's relatively recent, right? Like we actually had to add that menu, I think in the last couple months, to make it easier for people to find that kind of stuff. But the more menus you add, eventually people stop like reading it and can't find stuff. So it's a constant constant debate. Yeah, Discord's kind of same way. So, all right. So I think the only other updates are I do have another one. Where is the Yeah, Scott, and honestly, we were in the GitHub Discussions beta really early, and that was super good timing because I had actually just set up a discourse server internally that we were kind of like testing and playing with. And Discussions is it's like Stack Overflow, but already on a repo that we already had. It's so much better. It has all the features I wanted relatively early, so I was very, very glad that we were able to do that. All right, so the other thing in terms of like, kind of user feedback and following and watching what people are doing is, let me actually bring this over here. So this is a Google Sheet I made. So if you don't follow OA Labs and if you're doing any kind of malware reverse engineering, absolutely. The gist is, actually, hold on. Do I have it? Yeah, I do. I have it in like a little text macro. There we go. Oh, and by the way, KI, if you have the snippets plugin installed and you're not running the latest version of it, you can get it that way. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted my VM. Yeah, so if you're running snippets, you can actually go snippet editor. My menu is crazy, and it ships now with this update example snippets. Just run that, like literally just run that snippet, and it will create this examples folder and give you all of the snippets inside the snippet editor itself directly, which is super nice. Right. Although this get action context, I think looks like either, I think that's a bug I fixed and I just have an old copy of the files that are sitting around. But yeah, so that's the easier way of doing that. You don't actually have to memorize the URL. Flecky, welcome. I was telling people earlier about the 3.1 video. So Flecky is our video editor who's doing like a really nice job. So getting high quality like edited version of videos is coming out. Yeah, you can it's one click to update. There's like very little dependencies. I think I added like the syntax highlighting pigments, but it should just like when you update, it should be like reinstall pigments and be like, oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. So OA Labs is awesome. And one time several months ago, Sergey tried to run, sorry, let me maximize my VM again before I get lost. Tried to run, oh no, I don't want to be maximized. I got to go back to, you can go back to the browser window. This is over here. Tried to run Binja and ran into a bunch of issues, some of which were just workflow, some of which were UI, some of which were Windows type libraries, trying to do Windows malware analysis. And I took copious notes and turned it into like this list of this kind of features and like bugs. And the green ones are ones that have since been fixed. They're just already fixed. And then some of these other ones that have URLs, these are, I think, all scheduled for, actually, well, no, green is IDB import to import types. Actually, done. So this is complete. So if you actually look, although I think there are, sure, I'm not going to open anything inappropriate. I don't think so in this. Yes, so there is actually an IDB import plugin. There is some work still needed to be done on it to do like function starts and comments and names instead of just types. And there's a couple of like there are some types that don't import, but there is already on Binja now the ability to directly import types from an IDB, and that came about as a result, in large part from watching the stream and being like, oh wow, LLVM's really ran into this problem because our Windows type libraries at the time weren't good enough, but also there was an IDB, so both of those are essentially fixed. One, the type libraries have gotten way better, and two, now you can actually just go and file, not export, or is it? It's plugins IDB beta import types from i64. So if you have an existing database, you can import types right into your right in your sidebar. I haven't been brave enough yet. I want to find, I'll do it now. I don't expect this to work. But Rolf Rolls has a massive, his repositories of like a bunch of IDBs. Let's find maybe his. So I think there's also some version issues, but Comrade Orchestrator. One interesting fun fact is IDBs don't have the original file inside of them. So if you don't actually have the binary that goes along with this, you can open the IDB in IDA, but you couldn't reconstruct the file itself from that, which, fun fact, is also why like edit patch binary is a thing in IDA that's it requires the original binary because you have to have it separately. It doesn't have the ability to reconstruct it. I mean, obviously, technically all the bytes are there, but there's no API. There's no way to, given just an IDB, recreate the file. So it's in downloads probably. What did I? There it is, Comrade. Oh, not open. Hold on. I wanted to IDB import types from my 64. Yeah, this one. Did we get some types? We should have gotten some types from. Hold on. How many types does Bash have normally? Did that work? I don't think it worked. Yeah, so I think it just fails silent. Like I said, I straight up did not expect that to work. Because like I said, I know there's that open issue that I just pulled up a second ago. And actually, I think there may be some different versions of the IDB file format. So, and I think you need to have like an actual Windows file because then you get the Windows types. Or maybe that's when it conflicts. I forget the exact details, but we need to, yeah, so we need some more work. But that feature essentially, yeah, it said apply 0 types, so it's not loading them. I suspect it's just failing to parse them because there's like a lot of types in them, which is they're good test cases. So that's one of our goals to get. But the beta tag will remain on that feature. I do know I've also seen it work. It definitely has worked for a number of sample tests that people have been running. But anyway, like the whole point is that came from watching Sergey stream. So anyway, I just kind of like I said, I wanted to get feedback from people to if you thought about like Valgrad, it was a great comment you made about documentation between the Python and C. But if you guys have other feedback in terms of where you've looked for things, and the problem is the more people who have been in the community like you take for granted the things that you already know. So i64 is the IDB, is in the latest version, I believe. And there is also like the TIL files too, which are actually the type libraries, and it's a similar structure. Yeah, no, Brinley, the BNDB does include the original binary, so you can at any time, you can take so for example, if I open up this bash one, and that one's it'll take a second. That's fine. It's pretty fast. Let the analysis happen, and then I'm going to move the original file as soon as analysis is finished, and then I save the BNDB. But yeah, you can basically re-export the original binary from the BNDB. It's one of the reasons that they used to get big is because it was like saving snapshots of it, even if it hadn't changed. It was a bug in that, so it would bloat the BNDBs. But one of many improvements to the BNDB serialization. Yeah, you know what? Let's do a different file that's maybe not quite so big. How big is Boombox? Was fast, wasn't it? Boombox is very fast. Okay. bv.file.original file name. So cd here. So move boombox dash old, and then save boombox.bndb into the same folder, close it, reopen the BNDB, and now you can actually you can do it in the API, of course, too, but save as, and you can choose to save file contents only. So that's how you're using and now you'll notice we've got two identical. All right, so we can get rid of the extra one. So yeah, it's all in there, but yeah. And oh, and a fun fact while we're actually talking about the BNB is it's actually SQLite 3. There's some compression and some JSON and stuff under the hood, but at the top level, BNB. Oh, really? Sudo apt install SQLite 3. It should be really fast. Oh, Chinmay, welcome. Long time no speak. Hope you're doing well. I should definitely stream longer. More people show up after I've been up for a while, I've noticed. Sometimes I'm usually tired at the end of a long week, but yeah, so you can actually like dump out some of the data inside of a BNDB file. But these snapshots are like compressed and there's JSON inside of it. It's a little weird. It's not like super trivial and human, but surface level. If like something ever gets really corrupted, you can poke into it from there. Hey, doesn't quit. Whatever. Control D. That'll work. Yes. Since IDA 7, it's been renamed to I64, but it's basically still just IDB. But so our support in particular that Zane added or has been working on is for the newer I64 format for post 7.0. At some point, maybe it would be nice to add older support for IDBs, but the main thing is now for people that are migrating from a current to a curve. And actually, again, you can fix this up yourself if you want to play with it. It's in there's two open source plugins. One is the actual Rust parser, which does the parsing itself, and then the other one is the import plugin. So inside of Binary Ninja, create the types and pull things in, and also Rust based, right? So those are both the Rust convert the oxidization, I've heard it called, of Vector 35 continues. Yeah, exactly, Flecky. So I think and especially because we're not doing those like edited streams where we try to like edit out all the ums and ahs and wrong things I say. I think that saves a lot of work because that was a lot of work for you. I think it's a much better plan now. We're doing like these kind of smaller videos. You don't import types from your IDA 6.9 builds. Yeah, exactly. Like you've either migrated onto IDA 7 or else like you probably aren't I don't know. Like there's probably not a lot of people with like hostage old IDAs that they really need types out of. And ironically, I think some of the other IDB parsing tools do better at some of the old stuff. So it was kind of meant to be a modern one. But all right, so let me think. Let me go back to what was my outline. Mr. Glass, that's a good question. We generally don't put a lot of time into the linear disassembly. And some of the niceties like labeling. In fact, you'll notice one of the oldest feature requests of Binary Ninja was to put arrows in linear disassembly. And we realized that for the most part, you don't need them as much as you think you do. Partly because, if you're working with any of the ILs and disassembly is actually just a backup, like you're just looking here and then you kind of want to verify a couple little instructions or whatever. And partly because, um, yeah, like the higher level control flow stuff tends to be better at these other levels anyways, or a graph. So we don't even have the sidebar arrows just because the amount of work it was going to take relative to how many people would use it was we tried to focus on other things essentially. But to your specific question, yeah, that is also one of our oldest features, and it's just not something we hear very often. I don't, we could take a look at it again. In fact, actually, hold on. I want to say this is one that was originally filed by, what was his name? He worked on Redair. Crowell? Yeah, Crowell filed this. This is a really old one. Literally scroll at the bottom here. Yeah, it was a Crowell bug. It's issue number 75. No, it's not this bug. Arbitrary labels. Okay, so it wasn't a Crowell bug, but it was similarly old. Yeah, it was 75. It was fairly similar. Then we kind of changed it. So it has been asked. It really is interesting to me though, like how different people have such different workflows, right? So some people are like, oh man, I really use this particular view a lot, and other people wouldn't even notice it. But no, I'm glad you asked, Mr. Glass, though, because all it takes is for a couple of people to ask the same question, and then we go, okay, well, wait a minute, maybe this is more important, or we should take a look at it. Or you can make friends with one of the Binja developers and convince them it's super important, and that ask them to take a look at it, because there is an amount of like flexibility that we have a certain like overall priorities, and Peter in particular is like the product manager. And so like all the big level stuff, making sure we're doing user studies and we're, putting all these things and doing priority and trying to figure out impact and kind of measuring all this stuff. Like, we need to do that institutionally, but there's also some flexibility. Some people just work on, stuff that they want to, especially some of the smaller stuff. So that one, it's one of those that might be, now that we've been doing things for a while longer, we might figure out like an easier way to do it. But yeah, well, so the other thing, Mr. Glass, is we really try to emphasize that disassembly is useful for validating the IL, but for the most part, even just looking at like low-level IL and trying to use that. Although actually, hold on, what if, comments get added. If you make a multi-line comment, I think you for free get. It's not, oh, you want repeatable labels though, don't you, right? Yeah, you want the idea so that if you branch to this address at the branch, you would see, like label this ad, or you want to like N or like label that, put a label on that block of that destination there so it shows up. That's right. That's the feature request. Yeah. That's true. It's not something that really is dual, and ironically, you don't even see it at all really at this level on the ILs. It's just like you see both the if destinations. Then you might still want it there. Yeah, well, think about that. Take care. See you, KIGF. I always forget your name. I should remember now. You've been around for quite a while, but yeah, I do. Wow, that's interesting. So the older ones don't open. Does it not do forward conversion? I feel like it should. And Mizu, one question about the GUI. Is there a place? It does. It does. The plugin manager does appear under preferences, but I'm really glad. Actually, it did. Okay, that's right. That's right. So this actually tells me, Mizu, that you are using the stable build. If you run the latest dev, you'll find it's moved because you were not the only one who had that problem. That was actually a common complaint that it used to be. So if I actually go over and run the stable build, you'll see in the previous version, you had to go under Edit Preferences, and that's where manage like plugins, settings, hotkeys, and stuff was all under there. But we realized that a lot of people weren't finding it there. And when we recently renamed the tools menu, so you see on the stable build, it's called tools, but in the latest dev, it's just called the plugin menu. And that's where all of your plugins go, snippets, other plugins, open the plugin folder and manage plugins. Yeah, so we moved it exactly to make it easier. So I'm actually glad you brought that up. I know a couple people will appreciate that is intuitively where you expected it to be. So yeah, I don't think yeah, old to new should work. That should be automatic. I would be surprised if that didn't work. I know like we work really hard. You can always open an old binary. You can open a binary tree database from 7 years ago, and it should work. It should work now. But oh, you sure those aren't just because of like architecture? No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why that would be. That's a good question. If you're using either home or free, yeah, I can. Yeah, if somebody else doesn't test that out, okay, ping me on Slack and I can test it on our copy too and see if, because they should all be forwards compatible. But yeah, so we are actually, I don't think Peter pasted his announcement. We kept it just to the Slack, and obviously I feel like the videos are kind of like the in crowd too a lot of the time. But the user study request, we're looking for people who just, like I said, want to let us learn more and see what they're up to, and hopefully we'll get really good feedback. We'll get more things like the OA Labs list of list of features and improvements, and so that we can really try to make Binary Ninja work better for your workflow. Because what happens is, like, lots of times, a lot of people are very unique, and like I said earlier, some people really like one particular like UI that other people like will never use. So like that's always going to happen. But in general, if you're having a problem or not finding something, or it's kind of awkward to hold, as it were, other people are too. And so that's why we're really finding a lot of value in that. But all right, I think that was everything I wanted on my schedule today. I was going to pull up should turn on. Yeah, chat looks really bad if I have a white background. I need to fix that. Did I make a note of that one, Nate? Let's see. What else was on the menu that I want to talk about? Chat not as visible on white. I mean, I'm usually using the Binge of Dark theme, so I wouldn't notice. Oh, and I think I already showed off the new theme, right? There's a new light theme that John's been working on. But if you haven't seen that already, so yeah, Brinley, thanks for coming out. Yeah, thanks, Dank. I think I did. I think I showed off summer earlier too. Oh, cool, perfect. So Peter's got people who are interested. Awesome, that's great. So, all right, well, thanks again, everybody, for chilling. If there's any other features or requests, questions, I always really do like it when there's. I know people like feel bad sometimes when they interrupt me, but I'm very oh, squirrel. And that's what the editing is for. We can always fix things afterwards. Although I realized the height changing on this has like put the lights. Or no, it's the monitor. That's what it is, isn't it? The monitor being bright is showing up on my glasses. I need better anti-reflection. That's another good reason to always go with dark themes. Dark themes don't show up in my eyes more. That's all right. It's small. Oh, Flecky, I think I already mentioned it, but you'll like this. The recording that I'm making now includes a separate recording of just the desktop. So the face in the chat won't obscure things anymore, which is nice. Yeah, and I talk fast and I bounce around, and so fix it in post. Cool. Sweet. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody. Oh, MLS. Yes. All right. I'm gonna show it. I'm not gonna run it right now because I don't have any of that set up on this machine. And it's good timing because Zane has just walked by me. And also leaving in turn is very sad. Yes, Zane is leaving us. We wish Zane well in all future endeavors, but also we're still sad. So we'll see. Maybe after going out and getting some experience in the world, we'll be reunited in the future. It's a small community, so we hope indeed that's the case. But Yeah. Ooh. Actually, Valgrind, hold on. Check this out because there's a thing that basically does that and it's scary. It does basically that. So also, if like you look at it, I'm going to send you a link to it, like an account on that. I think we can play with it a little bit. But you can literally like edit the script of what. So it first transcribes your videos and then it lets you edit the words and it can make you say new things and like just dub it directly over the video. And I don't know, it looks impressive if it actually works well at all, as they claim. Where was I going with this? Oh, I know what I was pulling. Okay, I'm pulling up the code. And I'm looking at a test branch. Test. What's the branch name, Zane? Zane, branch name. We have too many test branches. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. No, it's not even a test. It's just MLIL, right?
No, test MLIL.
Test MLIL. That's it. Okay, it's doing test builds. Okay.
And then if you go to the Rust, and then you go to the examples folder.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Okay. Just because it's your last day, I'm gonna try it.
Try it. It's not gonna work for anything other than the binaries that are in there.
I mean, that's fine.
But if you like to, if you go to the examples folder.
All right, let's do it. We're not gonna end the stream yet. We're doing it live.
Okay.
Let's keep going. All right, so let's grab the repo. Actually, it's just the binge repo. Just what do I do? I'm gonna take this terminal. I'm gonna kill that. We're gonna git clone. And then I'm going to not remember the hotkeys, so I'm going to actually paste. Get submodule, update, init, recurse. It's not recursive, is it? I feel like, you know how like a word gets weird sometimes? And like all of a sudden you're like, I'm saying it wrong. Am I pronouncing it right? Is that even the? All right, git checkout test MLIL bindings. So what the first thing that you're gonna get here is, that's fine. Git, you don't have rights anyways. Doesn't really matter. Git config pull.rebase true. Let's make sure it actually. Okay, so Rust cd examples. MLL to LLVM. What is this? Okay, so these are showing off new. First of all, the Rust API for a long time was really more about like implementing architecture. It didn't have as many like analysis, like parsing the ILs.
Yeah, you couldn't actually look at any IL.
And so now you can. So that's one of the things that Zane's been working on. Mm-hmm. And there's a thing. So I hold on. Cargo. Do I have cargo installed here?
No.
Cargo. I can spell it right. Cargo.
You do not have it.
Okay, so it's first you got to go rust up, get rust.
He's doing the whole thing live.
I'm doing the whole thing. I'm just gonna try it.
First time Rust user. Yeah.
First time Rust user, long time caller. I'm not on this VM anyway. All right. Stable's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be. We run stable.
So yeah, let's do it. Let's see how it goes. I totally agree, Flecky. It sounds both disturbing and also awesome.
What the Malil to live in here?
No. This is Descript. This is the website where like you drag a video, it transcribes it, and then you can edit the text, and it's like editing the video. So you can like delete an and it just does it for you, or you can also just make me say new things or whatever video you uploaded.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't. All right. Okay. So configure. All right. So let's just do this for now. Yoink.
So I think she'll do
Cargo run.
Do you like the cargo? Yeah, I think cargo run should work. Maybe.
Let's find out.
You don't have your LLVM path set actually. I doubt you have LLVM on this machine.
I don't think I do either.
I know where we can get it.
No, like yeah, I do too, but no.
You can't show the crime we committed on screen.
I think that might be the end of this experiment.
Yeah, I mean you can just
unfortunately
look at there's the test cases in there. You can look at the generated LLVMIR.
All right, so let's go do that. Let's okay, let me kill this build, which is this shell. CDC. You do. It's the last time you have to submit your time card.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, sad face. You should tweet your going away present.
I should. That's so good.
You should put that. You should put that on there. I'm pretty happy with that. I think
is
that came
amazing.
out well. All right. So, Ninja API, Rust. So the example. So okay, the idea here is, I mean, it says it right there on the tin, right? MLIL to LLVMIR. So the idea is that this
So
will.
you do your source tree and then test.
Yeah, could not compile LLVM sys due to previous. Yeah, I mean, I might just be able to apt install it, but I'm not gonna.
So that's the actual code. If you want the test cases, then test folder.
So yeah, the idea here is it's like sort of a minimal proof of concept. It uses the new Rust APIs to do parsing of the MLIL and matching and getting all the properties
So you can
of
match upon
operations.
and extract each field of each operation, like the left and right hand side from an add.
Can you all hear Zane? If not, I can either speak up or move the mic or something. But yeah, you can match. You can just like you can parse the expressions because everything's tree based, expression based in IL, and Rust has nice matching facilities.
Yeah, structural pattern matching.
So okay, so lift test 2.
So if you
So let's.
and you can also just do clang lift test.ll. I'm just gonna compile it.
I mean, if I had
If you had clang.
if I had Clang installed, I could do that. But okay,
Unfortunately.
you are audible. So open lift test 2 dot which BNDB it's gonna open. Oh, actually G dot open. I don't know. Is there a binge installed? Is it gonna open? There we go. It's opening. Okay.
It's pretty simple binary. Oh, this one's the printf binary.
Let's make that full screen. All right. So
It lists that.
oh, there we go. Yeah. So it's main. It's got an argument and it calls printf.
That's the basic one.
So the plugin, you build the plugin, you run it on this binary, and then it essentially outputs this lift test 2.ll, right?
Yes.
And so it's going to produce that.
And optimized IR.
Yeah. So now, where does the optimization happen? Is that being done by Clang?
Yeah.
So you're letting Binja optimize the decompilation, and then you're emitting to MLIL, and then you're emitting, and then you're letting Clang do another path of optimization, and then you're producing this. And then you can actually just be like, please do build and get.
Yeah, and you can
like,
just compile it across any architecture or platform.
yeah. So you want it to run somewhere else, and now it is arguably still a toy at this point,
Very
right?
much
Because it's like there's not a lot of support for a lot of instructions, but the fact that it's even like it came along really quickly is pretty fun. So anyway, all right. Well, now I think we're gonna take off because I want to say goodbye to these fine folks before they leave. So it was fun as always chatting with y'all. Hopefully, what's that? All right.
I'm not.
You're not leaving? Well, like today,
No,
you're leaving for the day. All right. So thanks again for hanging on, chat. I appreciate it. It was good to see y'all. Until next time, see you.